Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Baba. Is my background okay? I mean, the lighting, is it okay?
Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. That's great.
Is the light okay?
Yes, I can see you and I can hear you very
Loud and
clearly.
clear. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are going to start with our webinar this evening. Currently, we have our branch youth organizer, Ike, here with us. But before we start, can I get someone to pray for us? Okay, Emmanuel Ejapon, are you able to unmute yourself? Emmanuel, are you able to unmute yourself? Can we get someone to pray, please? Okay. Kindly give me a minute to sort this out. Thank you. Sorry, everyone. Looks like we're having an issue with the unmute button. So I will start by praying. And as time goes on, we should be able to rectify this. Let's pray. Father, Lord, we thank you so much for bringing each and every one of us here tonight. As we're about to have our discussion, we pray that you give us the ideas, the wisdom, and help us be able to come to a good end with so many ideas from each and every one. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Loyal Ladies UK, I would like to welcome you to this evening's webinar. I'll be your host for tonight. I am Baba Pobi, the captain of Loyal Ladies UK. Tonight, we gather to explore a powerful and timely theme, the role of the youth in political communication. In today's rapidly changing political and digital landscape, youth are not just participants, they are influencers, thought leaders, and change makers. Yet their voices are often overlooked or underrepresented in formal political structures. This event is designed to spotlight those voices, to bridge gaps, and to inspire more meaningful engagement in how we communicate, represent, and lead as young people. We are joined by an exceptional lineup of speakers, respected voices in media, governance, and youth development, who will be sharing their insights, personal experiences, and advice on how the youth can shape political discourse with purpose and confidence. Thank you all for being here. So currently, the guest speaker we have is our own Mr. Ike Price Asante. He's the dynamic youth organizer of the NPP UK branch, a development economist, a broker, and a spatial planner. He's a dedicated mobilizer and strategist. Ike has been at the forefront of energizing the NPP youth, both at home and in the diaspora. He has championed several impactful initiatives, including the Operation 1 Million T-shirts drive for 2024 elections. He coordinated vital youth-led donations towards the national campaign and led the successful organization of NPP UK Youth Festival that continues to build unity, purpose, and political education among young patriots. Welcome, Ike, to this evening's webinar.
Thank you, Lady Baba, for having me, and thank you for everything that you've done with the youth wing and Loyal Ladies so far. I'm happy to be in your midst tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. As you may have seen on the flyer, we have a few guests that we are waiting for. Currently, they are not here. They will join us soon. But before we go on, I would like Ike to talk about himself just a little with all of you. Those who don't know him, Ike, can you just share a little about yourself? Thank you.
All right. Thank you once again, Baba. And good evening, everyone on the forum. I can see my boss, Mr. Ampofo on. Virus, good evening. And I can't really see so many faces from here, but then a big hello and thank you to everyone on the call. Just as Baba said, I'm not new when it comes to Loyal Ladies operations and activities, but then tonight I think me being as a guest on this call is a big privilege. So thank you once again. I can't really say much about myself for now because more or less you shared all the vital information about me. Like you said, my name is Ike Asante. the current youth organizer for NPP UK. I took over from one of your, your friends in the, what do you call the loyalists, fraternity in the person of Jemfi, who is a friend and a brother. And there isn't much to say. I live in London. I've been in London for almost close to 21 years now, right after finishing the gun back in 2006. And I've been living here. And I'm a married man with three beautiful daughters. And yeah, currently working with Lambeth Council. So I can't really say much. Salam Mustafa is my direct boss when it comes to party activities. But then here in UK, I report straight to my boss, Kwame Boateng, and the chairman of the branch, Mr. Kingsley Dumeta. So, Baba, for now, this is what I can share with your audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ike. Since you're here, I'll go on to ask. So, Ike, how can the UK branch help young people here feel that their voices are truly part of the NPP's direction and messaging?
Wow. Not even an icebreaker, Baba. Anyway, thanks. All right. So, how can the youth voice be heard? Is that what you're saying? Or how
Yes.
can they influence policies and that stuff when it comes to NPP?
So how can the UK branch help young people here feel that their voices are truly part of the NPP's direction and messaging?
Thank you. I think one of the many ways by which the youth can feel that their voice are actually heard in the NPP UK branch, i.e. contributing towards the branch policy direction and that stuff, would include so many things. First and foremost, I can talk of inclusion. I think one of the many ways by which the youth can feel that their voices are heard and therefore they are helping shape, the discourse here in the diaspora, will first and foremost be about inclusion. That is, the leadership must aim to actually include the youth in everything that, we do. We must, or the leaders must ensure that most of the activities that we do are youth-centered or youth-driven. That is one of the many ways that the youth can feel that their voices are being heard, or whatever aspirations that they have are also being factored into whatever we do here in the diaspora. Another thing that we can also talk about is that since the party actually was born here in the United Kingdom back in the days, it was made up of so many people from exile, people who were being chased by Jerry John Rawlings and other people, and therefore they traveled down here to settle down just to fight for more or less political discourse of democracy in Ghana. So at the time that the party was born, we had a mix of people who have left all that they've gathered, their properties, their families back home, settled in UK. And there was no youth front, actually, to be honest, when the party was born. But then with time, we've realized that we've had this dynamic set of people in our midst, including yourself, myself, Jenfi, and other people here. So when I took over the reins of power about 2.5 years ago, getting to 3 years, if you recall, in one of my manifesto promise, I made a firm decision that we need to identify who the youth is. And going by the standards of the National Party, or by the constitution of the National Party, I think the party or the constitution talks about the youth being those under 40. So one of the things that I decided to do is actually to ensure that majority of the people who be joining the youth caucus, i.e. the platforms and other stuff, or the youth-related activities, will be those under the 40s. And by so doing, I managed to identify two sets of youth in the UK. One, people born here, whom I call born to people who came into exile, and another set of group two, more or less, I call them the wannabes, who are more or less, migrated here when they were probably in JSS, or maybe when they were 13, 10, they joined their parents here. And we also have another set of youth who have also come here to study, to read their master's, their PhD, and other stuff. Now we have all these 3 or 2 categories of groups: people who have come to study, and people who have also come to also came to stay with their parents, or people who are born here. So to bring these people together, what I decided to do, or what I've done when I took over, is actually to create a platform to give a voice to the people born here. You might be aware, maybe the secretary to the youth might be aware, we have a separate platform for those born here, the first generation people, I call. We usually interact every now and then. And we also have those who have come to study, who forms the basis for the TESCON group, and also the youth fraternity in itself. So in trying to make our voices heard, one of the many ways, like I said, is actually to identify the youth. But can you hear me? So we've defined who the youth is, and that is those under 40. So the party here must actually recognize that there are people who are under 40 who feel they are youth, and per the constitution of the party, they should be recognized as such. Another thing that we need to do, or we can do to project the youth, or to make sure that their voices are being heard or being aligned with the party here, is that we need to create a leadership structure. A leadership structure that builds the youth up, that builds capacity, that encourages people onto good ways, that edifies, you understand, that will make people feel like they belong, so that in the near future, when maybe the current generation is not around, we can have people who can actually take over the reins of power and carry the party on their shoulders. I mean, when you talk about NPP is NPP UK, the whole word NPP Ghana, NPP UK is NPP with UK or NPP branch. So we need to build a dynamic structure to breed the next set of leaders, to appoint people, to commit them into doing stuff that will build them up, mentorship stuff, so that people will feel that they are actually being engaged in the process of what in our discourse here in the United Kingdom. Another thing that we can do, I mean, the youth love to, innovate and do stuff. Now with social media presence and other stuff, yourself, Dasibre or Heneba, every now and then you are on doing your own stuff. One of the many ways by which we can actually make the youth feel that their voices are being heard is that we need to give them the space to actually operate on our social media platforms, i.e. assigning people or teams or committees to lead maybe WhatsApp platforms, assigning people to maybe do Facebook, assigning people to maybe do TikTok, assigning people to maybe do whichever platforms that we have available, managing our emails and other stuff. So if you look at my setup as the youth leader, when I took over, Rachel left us the social media handle and platform, which yourself and Oheneba have managed effectively so far, and that have made the youth so attractive. Kudos to you and Oheneba. And I also committed on, I think that Sibre and a few other guys to also do the TikTok, and I think the emails and stuff. And so far, they've been, Dasibre has done a really, really good job by projecting the youth and when it comes to, doing stuff on TikTok in the name of TESCON and other stuff. So these are the many ways by which we can actually, bring the youth together, make their voices heard. And the last but not the least, when it comes to this question, I want to touch on is creating that platform that, energize, that networks, you understand, bringing people together so that those people born here and those people who came here at young age and those who have come to study, i.e. the TESCON fraternity, can mingle with people or can come together and network each other, so that when it comes to identifying leaders, when it comes to maybe finding the next set of leaders, maybe president, prime minister, ministers, and other stuff, these people can be identified. And when it comes to maybe writing manifestos and other stuff, we can actually use these people. I remember seeing my manifesto that I want to build a, an idea bank, which is still in the process. That is identifying people with different skill set and abilities, so that in future, if we need to write manifesto, if you want to get people to lead other staff back home, we can easily identify that Mr. A has got this quality, Mr. A has got this skill set, so that it won't be a problem. So bringing this to an end, or we will need to create a networking platform for people to engage, conferences, town hall meetings, so that people will feel that they actually belong and their voices are being heard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ike. Before I comment on the things you've said so far, I would like to introduce Okatachi Afrifa. So thank you very much, Nana Okatachi Afrifa, for joining us this evening.
Baba, thank you very much for having me.
So everyone, if you do not know Okatachi, I would like to say a little bit about him before he talks. So Okatachi Afrifa Mensah, he's a traditional leader, a renowned broadcaster, and fearless political commentator. He's a chief from Asante Aguna and the host of For the Records. He has become a powerful voice, speaking truth to power and inspiring civic consciousness. Okatachi is passionate about awakening young people to their role in national development, political accountability, and communication that drives change. His unique blend of cultural authority and media influence makes him an essential voice in today's conversation on youth and political communication. Welcome again.
Thank you, Baba, and good evening to all of you.
Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Though I've done the introduction.
I'm not good about, I'm not good when it comes to describing myself, because I've done so much, but there's so much to do as well. And sometimes I forget who I am in the midst of all this drama and noise, but let me try. First of all, my name is known Okatachi Afrifa Mensah. Just like you rightly said, I'm a traditional leader, as well as a nondescript radical reformer when it comes to political certain. Beyond that, I'm a farmer. I don't know if I'm a broadcaster, but I'm an activist using the microphone and the camera to preach change in our society. More often than not, when you do that, you are referred to as either a journalist or a broadcaster. So maybe I put myself in that category. Family man with wife and kids. And yeah, by and large, unless you want to ask specifics.
Okay. I would leave that for now and probably come back with a few questions later. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Also, we've got Madam Akosua Menu. Madam Akosua Menu. Okay, so before Madam Akosua Menu talks, I will ask Okatachi a question. So,
Baba, no breather.
Okay, so you've built a strong brand through your media work. What lessons can young NPP supporters take from your journey in using media, especially social media, to influence public opinion positively?
All right, good evening once again to our listeners. And I don't know if the brand is a strong one, But now you ask me, how did you build a brand and what the young MPP supporters can learn from that journey?
Yes.
Especially when it comes to using media to shape public opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That is if I understand your question.
Yes.
But let me say this. The truth is that I didn't start off with a master plan to want to build a certain brand that has become today. But I started with a purpose. I wanted to contribute to the national conversation with clarity, with courage, and with sense of responsibility. So I started off with some comedy show on GH1 called Ntoatoa back in some 10 years, 12 years ago. I was speaking on national discourse, but wrapped in comedy. I got to realize that people were enjoying the comical aspect of it without having to take the message that I was, conveying serious, which then brought about the necessity to rebrand and speak more with clarity, with courage, and some sense of responsibility. This time, doing it not just to be loud, but also trying to be useful in the society. Beyond that, the first lesson I want to share is that you have to use your voice to build trust, not just traffic.
Yeah.
So, Kwabena Ampofo, when I mention Kwabena Ampofo, I'm referring to Virus. I remember back then when I was speaking against our political party then in government, I had a conversation with my brother, Kwabena Ampofo, and I told him something, that I am building trust with the people and I will save NPP someday, as if I was a prophet. So I use social media because one, social media rewards drama, but real influence comes with consistency. Showing people who you are over time without performing for applause is what you have to do. So continuously, even when my own party, people within my party were angry with me, I knew my conviction. I was consistent. I spoke against what was wrong yesterday, regardless of which political party is in power. And I wasn't seeking the applause of my people back then. That is how come today, if you say my brand is big, then it comes with consistency. Secondly, I don't confuse going viral with being valuable. Many times people will go viral, but real influence is not just about attention, it is about intention. What is your intention? When you speak, I ask myself a question. Am I helping someone to understand these things better, or I'm just adding up to the noise? That is how come I don't rush to speak on national issues. I look at all the sides of the matter, and because we are a creation of law, I always come in with the aspect of the law. What is the position of the law? What does the law say? What is the person doing? What can be done? Then we marry all of that together and the people understand it better. So with the current show, I am running for the records. I'm intentional about letting the masses understand what the position. So there will be so much noise, but I don't want to just add onto the noise. I want to come in and let the people understand the matters in a certain perspective. Again, I try to protect my tone. First, we represent a party with history, a legacy, and a vision. So when I speak, people say, oh, it looks like you are speaking for NPP. First of all, I'm speaking for the nation Ghana, but without having to forget the family I belong to, the house I seek to protect. That is the history of the NPP, the legacy, the vision, the principles, and the ideals on which our fraternity was formed. So every time I post or I speak, the question I ask myself is that, am I shaping how people see all of us? So if you want to build a brand, first of all, you have to be sharp, you have to be grounded, you have to be bold, and you have to be measured. Again, I repeat, you have to be sharp. You have to understand. You don't just have to add onto the noise. You don't have to just speak, but you yourself must relax, tone down, study all around what the matter, all the perspectives, all the angles that there is to study. So that when you speak, you are grounded in knowledge. When you speak with boldness, and you are measured with the way you convey your message, because human beings naturally don't like change. So when you want to speak and convey a certain principle, is my volume down? I saw my baby girl, Jennifer Quinn, saying my volume is down. Is it okay now, Jennifer?
I can hear you. I don't know if she can hear you. The volume is down, please. Kindly check.
Initially, it was okay, but I can hardly hear him.
Oh.
Okay, so I think a call was coming through, so it takes over the microphone. I'm pretty much sure. But hold on, let me put it on. Right, we should be fine. I'm using my phone, so I had to put it on how do we call it, flight mode, which I just did. Am I clear now, please?
I can hear you.
Jennifer, am I clear?
Manage. I'll manage, so you don't worry. I'll manage.
All right. It's good to hear from you.
Thank you, my dear.
So first of all, I said that again, you have to protect your tone because we represent a party with history, legacy. Many of us today, we don't even understand the ideals and the principles on which our party was formed. So when we speak, we don't speak with the courage of Victor Usus. We don't speak with the courage and the knowledge of Aram Ponsens. We don't speak with the courage of Jato Kalios and the people who paid the price to build the house that we call MPP today. Because we don't know, and we must know. We must be grounded. We must be bold. We must be measured. So I just want to remind you that you just don't need more loud voices. We need more clear ones. And I am clear with my conviction. I am clear with my thoughts. That is how come when everybody is going left, and deep down, I know that I have to go right. I don't just follow the crowd because everybody says, let's go left. If you want to stand out, then you have to stand for something real. Stand for something that lasts longer than news cycles. So people will insult me, people will create stories about me, but at the end of the day, Okateche Fifa Mensa is still here. Why? Because over time, truth always reigns. What I also don't do is that I don't chase noise. So when the room is noisy, I don't speak. I build trust. Social media moves so fast that if you don't take care, you'll be tempted to speak almost on every matter that goes around. But you must build credibility, but you must build it so slowly, post by post, thought by thought. From the beginning, I focused less on going viral and more on being consistent. That is how come when I was working at Happy FM, Jennifer, you've been here. I did not care what others thought about what I was saying on Happy FM, because I was consistent with my values, with the fact, and with how I treat people, regardless of what anybody thinks of me. Even those I disagree with, I want to always give them the chance to speak. Yes, I agree. Sometimes I can be an intellectual bully, but I'll still give you the chance to speak.
Can you imagine?
I would say, are you there? Or is Jennifer who says so?
I said so.
It's Jennifer.
Jennifer, okay.
Yes.
Now, to understand the difference between attention and influence, anyone can get attention. Agrada gets attention. Almost everybody gets attention. But influence means shaping thoughts. So it means that people must trust your take, not just watch it. If I speak today and a whole government is thrown into abyss, that even an appointment that is made by a whole government machinery has to be revoked because Okadechi mentioned, then, of course, people trust my take on the issues. Many times when things are going on, you will see people tagging me because over time, they know that when I come in, I move away. For instance, yesterday when I came in with a conversation about Sam George reducing data and all, many people don't even know that he reduced the data or so-called reduction was actually the reinstating of what MPP was doing during the COVID-19 and 2020 times. Finally, be intentional. Don't post out of emotions or impulse. I am very intentional when I want to do anything. I am pretty much sure most of you have an idea what is going on between me and a certain, excuse my French, idiot living in America. I am very intentional about how I deal with him. So I sometimes allow him to throw all the dirty stuff. I allow him to throw all his ammunitions away. I step back and I ask, is what I'm about to say going to help the people to understand the issue better? Is it lifting the conversation or is it lowering it? Now, as the MPP fraternity and young communicators who are going to champion and carry this fraternity to the next level, it is our job, especially, not just to defend the party, but to elevate the discourse around it. And we can only do that when we learn. We don't stop learning. We must learn. Read almost everything and anything. Anything you lay your hands on. If it is the law, learn it. If it's the energy, learn it. If it's about economics, just learn. If you don't have an idea, call somebody who has an idea. Let the person explain it to you. Don't just throw things about because you want to. You must show that we can be sharp without being shallow. Be bold without being reckless. And be firm without being disrespectful. Some of us in the past, we communicated with emotions, and we cannot understand how sometimes you get engulfed in emotions. You are very emotional about national issues, which leads you. So when I got to a certain point, I asked myself a question. Do I really want to continue to do the same thing over and over and expect different results? The answer was no. So anytime I'm about to speak now, I ask myself several questions. So fellow MPP fraternity, fellow members of our house, which is the MPP house, please, you can build a brand, but you must be clear, you must have a conviction, and clarity is what brings about boldness, and boldness is what brings about consistency, and consistency is what brings about building a solid brand. I think on that question, that's all I would like to say. If I'm put any other question, I'll come back and answer it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ohene Okatechi Efifa Mensah. So I will go on to introduce our one and only Jennifer Oforiwa Queen. She's a dynamic voice in Ghanaian politics, currently serving as Deputy National Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party. Appointed to the role in September 2018, she's one of the key figures shaping the party's messaging and outreach strategies during critical national campaigns. Her prior experience includes serving as Deputy Communications Director at NADMO under President Akufo-Addo in 2018. Known for energetic grassroots engagement, strategic digital outreach, and vocal advocacy, especially for youth and frontline workers, Jennifer's involvement brings practical insight into how young communicators can influence public discourse and policy impact. Welcome, Lady Jennifer.
Thank you very much, Barbara. I think, thanks everyone. Good evening.
Good
Can you hear
evening.
me, please?
I can hear you. They can hear
Okay.
you. They've just been muted for now.
Okay.
Okay. So, Jennifer, can you say something about yourself, something that I haven't said in the introduction, something we don't know about?
Oh, you've said it all.
Okay.
I don't have, yes, you said it all. I
Okay.
don't have much to say, but let me greet our participants again. Good evening to everyone and good evening to yourself. And thank you for having me. We've been traveling all the way from Accra to a coded location for a workshop, the same communication. We have the young ones, I mean the youth, the Gen Zs here for a communication workshop organized by some private people.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I couldn't join earlier. You could see I joined later. Yes, I was about 30 minutes late, but the time that you gave me, I was 30 minutes late. Yes, that's why I was a bit late. So it's all part of the communications. As you all know me, I don't know if I should start. As you all know me, I'm Jennifer Queen. Jennifer Queen is a household name in the New Patriotic Party. And I've done politics since 1998, which is about 27 years ago. I've done communication 15 years. Till date, I've groomed a lot of people, particularly the young ones. And we are still doing it. We've been communicating during, before, and even after we won power and now in opposition, because we can't just let the work slide. We have a lot of work to do now. But what this government is doing, we can't just sit back and say we've done communication in power, and then now we are in position, we have to leave it just like that. I remember when I traveled after the elections, everybody was calling me, including the NDC. Meanwhile, when I'm in Ghana, they will insult me. My TV is on but when I'm away, I think the country becomes a bit calm. But since my brother Okatechi has taken over, the country is still heated. Particularly from 8 p.m. I make the country heated in the morning and he continues in the evening. That's how communication should be. And that's how it's supposed to be. And that's how we have to do to project and protect our party that we have. Because for some of us, that's the only political party that we know. And that's the only political party that we were born into. We don't have any other political party. After they won power, they've been calling some of my friends, they've been talking to some of us. You know, we have friends, we have classmates, we have schoolmates. In the NDC, they've been calling us. They will say that get rid of your tough. They will be bringing men crossing your path, and Kebefa, but it's not working for them. Because I have a conviction to work for my party, to speak for my party. And I believe and have it in mind that with hard work, we'll be able to win 2028. There's just some few, I would say, noise in the internal elections. Meanwhile, we have not started yet, but you could hear one or two here and there. It's part of politics. People get too disturbed about what is going on. A lot of people will be calling me from outside. Jenny, I say, you just calm down. The water will settle by itself. That's how politics is supposed to be. But most of the time when it becomes too noisy, that's where people become a bit tensed about what is going on. But I know with time, then people that I know will settle and then we get back on our heels because we have elections to win in 2028. The good news for us is that JM is ending his political career, not necessarily ending his, but ending his, whatever elections that he will contest again in 2028. They are bringing new face. And if we are able to manage ourselves well as a political party, we get a strong flag bearer. We are good to go in 2028. So for now, Baba, I don't know if you have anything else to ask me. I'm ready to answer any question that you want to ask me. I don't know if I've answered what you asked me because all that needed to be said about me, you just said it in
Has been said, yes.
it has been said. So if I would say I want to go more further, it would be like I say me let me end here. If there's anything that you want me to, respond to, I'm ready.
Thank you very
Meanwhile,
much.
the workshop has started. I've just excused myself. So when we are done, how many hours are we doing here, please?
It's supposed to be a couple of hours, 2 hours.
But that's fine. I can still make it to my program.
Okay.
I think we'll be
Okay.
closing today at 10. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for the warm introduction. I will go on to ask you your question. So,
Okay.
what structures or initiatives currently exist or should be introduced to help identify and deploy young communicators at grassroots and diaspora levels?
Thank you very much for your question. Just a second, please.
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry for the interruption. Someone just came to my room. That's all. You can put all of them.
It's fine.
Okay. If I got your question well, you mean to ask what are the plans in getting
Yes.
the young ones into communication, right? If I got you right. I don't know if that's what you asked.
Yes. I'll repeat
Okay.
it again. So, what structures or initiatives currently exist or should be introduced to help identify and deploy young communicators at grassroots and diaspora levels?
Okay, thank you for your question. You know, during our time, we started by ourselves. Some 15 years back, I was following the men when they go on air. And that time, there were no radio panel discussion. It was just the newspaper review that the media houses would do. And then we just barge in, go and speak our mind, and we leave. If you are not lucky, the NDC enters the studio, they will beat you in Kumasi those times. They will beat you and then they'll go until radio panel discussion started in communication. So we're doing it till I got my first appointment. But what I realized personally, was that, we are growing each day. And probably one day we may sit back for other people to take over. So we needed to groom people. So personally, I've trained a lot of young ones in communication, and they are doing extremely well. One is the deputy youth organizer, the national deputy youth organizer, Sandra, and other people as well. And then what we are doing is that for myself, I go on the social media, I read your Facebook, particularly on Facebook pages, TikTok. TikTok just started some 4 years ago, but on social media, like that's Facebook, I just read your page, monitor you for some time. Then I come to your DM and ask you questions if you are interested in doing because communication is a voluntary work. You are not paid. That time you are not paid until we came to power, and then we'll be dashing something small just to encourage you, just to resource you to do more, because communication needs a lot of resources. And those times when we were doing comms, the media were not taking anything from us. But today, as we speak, when you go, you need to drop like 2,000, 3,000. If you don't have money, quarter, 1,000 Ghana cedis, you have to leave it at the studio. If you don't give them, you become a target. Yes. So now, if I'm not able to go for a show and I ask someone to sit in for me, the person will ask you, Auntie Jennifer, I say, okay, when you go, tell them I said you should come. I'll call them before you get there. So it somehow become monetized, kind of. I'm not saying it's necessary. If you don't have money, you cannot do comms. That's not the case, but that's how the media is looking at as it stands now in Ghana here. So what I do is I pick them from social media. Sometimes I go to programs. A lot of them approach me, and then when you approach me, I'll just take my time, study you a bit, just ask you to get me some videos and all that. So when I watch your videos and then listen to your programs, I give you opportunity, some of my slot to you, to do for me to see whether you can do it or not. That's what I personally do it. And then when you give yourself some time, you could see that this person can do well, but the person needs training. When you take this girl, for instance, Political Mavis, when she came out during the campaign, everybody was tagging me, Jennifer, where the on collaborate, and that's how I started. And that time, you didn't even get anybody to coach you until we started upgrading ourselves in school. I didn't say that time I didn't have education, but communication, you need to be reading a lot, you need to be doing a lot of research. Myself, I've never slept since I started doing politics. I've never slept more than 4 hours. I'm always reading, doing my research, because when you sit, there are questions that will be asked, not even be part of the topic for discussion, the topics that they give you. for discussion. So you need to be reading current issues, history, and all that, because you wouldn't know what is going to happen, even though you've gotten the topics. So what we do is that for now, my boss has assigned me, Richard Anyaba has assigned me to get a lot of the young ones to be part of the comms. So that's what I'm doing. So far, I've gotten about 20 of them. But I need to study them before I bring them on board. Because communication is not just you are with your friend, you're having a discussion. No, you are going for a debate. You know, there are so many forms of communication. One is what we are doing now. Two, we have the traditional media, the electronic media, and all that. A lot of people are doing some on the internet, and for us, we do the traditional media. You go on radio or TV, go and speak your mind, you debate on whatever is giving you, and then you project and promote your party as well. So what we are looking at is we've given ourselves, I think by the end of the year, myself and Richard and our team, that's the comms directorate, we've given ourselves some time. Probably by the end of the year, September to December, we might actually get a lot of the youth who are interested. And the good thing is that a lot of them are getting interested, and that will look for your number and call. When you see him or her, the spirit is down, you need to motivate the person, tell the person what to do and what not to do. You know, not everything that is needed to be said on air or to be written on your social media platform, because you are being monitored in a way, particularly with these days that they come to your house in a Rambo style, they will raid your house or whatever. This young man, Fanti Comedy, who has been eating his tear, who has been scratching his ear all the time. The BNI call him to caution him that he said, "Your mama, NDC will go into opposition and people will come." That's what he said. And just because of that, he was invited. So now, yes, if you are communicating, you need to be strategic. You need to be careful. Not everything that needs to be said. You will punch them and all that. You know, the NDC is not like the MPP. There are clear difference between the two political parties. One has intellectuals. I mean, we have the elite. We have people who are they know what they are speaking to. And the other side is the mole type. They pick them from whatever. All that they indulge in is the insult and all that. They cannot make a single sentence or one line of a sentence without an insult. So there's a difference. So when we are grooming them, we need to teach them all of these things that I've mentioned. That's what we are doing for now. Because we are growing, probably one day we may stay back and then we need people to replace us. I've done it 15 years. It's not easy. 15 good years. Yes, myself and Okapechi. I've fought him on several occasions. You know, he mentioned Happy FM. That time, the way I know boy, the way he was bashing us, I go there myself. I go on his show without invitation. They don't deploy me. They don't tell me to come. He will be at the studio and then I'll go there. And that time we were in the same class, reading the same course. Yes, we did public administration together. So we fight on air. Yes, we fight on air. Then I join his car. We go and sit in classroom and then come back. The next day I'll go on the show again. So that's how we've been doing it. And then, so now I would say so far so good, but a lot needs to be done. So when you ask me about how are we recruiting the younger ones into communication, and you see, Baba, you need to get their consent. You understand? Yeah. Communication cannot be forced on the person unless the person shows an interest. I remember from Tamale 2014 when we came back from the national elections. Then Kobe Japan became the general secretary, engineer. He called me. That time it was myself, Giftiwari Abuaje, and one Akwele Toshitutu and Joy Zampari and Honorable Fatima Tuabaka. We were just 5 women doing communication in Ghana here. I didn't know about any other region, but it was just 5 of us who were that tough at the party headquarters. So after Tamale, Kobe Japan called us that, I'm quoting him anyway, but at the end of the end, I'm say, yeah, I said, oh, engineer, Kauma, Bibi Kakra, na Froka, and that time we were for 20 pesos, now we're 7 out the front. You know, you have to put on a scarf, cover your face and all that. And that time I was doing NDC, purely NDC station. I was doing Mugabe's show, that is Muntie, and then TV Gold, Gold, Radio Gold and all that. I was doing purely NDC station. So I was kind of tough that time, because if you are not strong, you can't go on NDC station. And by the time you get outside, you get out from the studio, you could see motorbikes, me small like this. It is because we came to Power Adamaya Keseka crowd, they want to come and beat me. So I told Courage upon the hazard that we go through and all that. He said, party communication, they are a voluntary work. It's what won't mean, you know. I want to baby at now. And from that time, I put at the back of my mind that I am working for my party. With or without money, that does not mean that if you give me money, I won't take. I'll take, because I'm working. So I put at the back of my mind that we need to work and get the party back to power. And that's how far we've come. And we are still doing more. As you can see, we've traveled, left our family in Accra to come and do a workshop. We have a lot of Gen Zs here. We're coming to train them. And then we go back to Accra. We start from there. So, Baba, that's what I can say for now. I don't know if you have any other thing to ask me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the good.
Oh, I did not to go. Oops. What is happening? Hello, Baba.
Yeah, sorry, my
Yes.
my network went off. Sorry.
I can
So
hear.
as I was saying, thank you for your good work.
Thank you.
Currently, with Loyal Ladies as well, we are being trained. We've got a few communicators that are being trained. And
Okay.
like you said, it's not just for everyone, but it's for those who are really passionate about it, because communication is not an easy thing. And you
Yes.
wouldn't want to
I was even on their platform, I think last week or so.
Oh,
They
okay.
invited me, yes. They invited me to speak to me. They wanted to know a lot about me, my
Oh,
involvement
okay.
in politics and communication some 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
It was worldwide. Everyone was on it. I don't know if you were
Oh,
on it.
I wasn't on, unfortunately. Yes, I wasn't on. I was tasked to do something else. I wasn't on. And
Okay.
at the moment, we've got Virus on here as well, who is
Welcome
listening.
and good evening.
Mr. Ampofuapia.
The money in our friend of Virus.
Virus, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, so Virus has set up a team that are training the ladies, and so far we've got quite a few of them who are really coming out, and they've built that confidence. And right now, if you're to put them in any place, they'll be able to speak for the youth and about the good works the party is doing or has done. And I think this is really, really good. And this is something we should encourage people who want to communicate. We need to really encourage them to do the job, because it's not an easy task at all. It's not an easy task. Okay, so I'll go back to asking the questions.
Okay.
The next question goes to Ike, our branch youth organizer. Ike, can you hear me?
Yes, Baba, me.
Okay. So the next question is, how can we build a stronger communication pipeline between the diaspora and the National Party in Ghana to ensure youth-led messaging is aligned and impactful? Can you try and summarize everything under 5 minutes, please? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question, and thanks for having me. A big hello to my big sister, Jennifer. This is Ike. And Dr. Tichie once again. So Baba, to the substantive, the question, how can we build a stronger communication pipeline between the New Patriotic Party here in the diaspora and the party back home? I think it's a very important question that needs to be properly addressed. And like I said earlier, the party NPP rests on the shoulders of NPP UK branch. It has been since time immemorial, and I'm very sure that it will continue to be. So one of the remarkable things that Nana did, which actually I applaud him for, is when he came to power, he appointed one of our men, Uncle Abebio. He used to be with us in South London to lead the charge for the diaspora. I think he created this diasporan office for Abebio to actually lead, where people from abroad, US, America, Belgium, other stuff can all go there and ask questions, seek help, and about government machinery, what government is doing, and all that. And I think most of us took advantage of that office, and at one point, we even hosted him on the youth forum, and he shared most of the things that he actually does in his office with us, which was very encouraging and very informative. So one of the many things that we can do to enhance what Nana, the foundation that Nana has laid in terms of creating an office for those of us in the diaspora, is actually to establish a diaspora desk. I think we are in a position now, so maybe that desk could actually be used, or we can actually assign that job to Stonash, who is in charge of, I think, those of us in abroad. So we need a special desk for those of us in the diaspora, or maybe in the UK, so that our views, our aspirations in relation to parties and stuff could be properly addressed and articulated, so that maybe when students get the opportunity to meet, executives and other stuff, we could also channel some of these things to them. So we need to create a dedicated desk or team within the National Party to handle the diaspora-related issues, to ensure timely communications and other stuff. That's one of the things that we need to do. And again, we need to also, like Sister Jennifer said, we need to provide, I think, a regular update on party activities to those of us in the diaspora. For us here, I mean, going online, getting the internet and that stuff is just, at the click of our fingers, compared to, people back home, especially now that, Jata want to increase, data prices and stuff. So there's a need for, us to receive regular updates, so that people like yourself that are separate and us that who are so much, into social media stuff can actually project the party and feed the masses that rely on us, especially our audience and our sympathizers with what the government or what our party is actually doing. And one of the many ways is actually we can also create this newsletter update for those of us, in the diaspora, so that maybe it could be a weekly or monthly or a bi-weekly kind of thing, whereby, everything about the diaspora from the party HQ could be translated onto that, portal, that form, so that people will be abreast with everything that, is happening in the party. To do this, I think we need to have a very strong and a large social media presence. We need that, because now everything is happening on social media. So if you're not on, especially if you're not on, or if a party is not taking advantage of what's happening on social media, we'll be left out with the Gen Z, because, some of these people don't even listen to the traditional media and stuff. So there's the need for us to make good use of the social media and technology, so that we can actually reach out to a large number of our people who do not really rely on what do you call it, on social media. And again, in this fast and changing world, we need to consult, we need to address the problems of the youth, or maybe we need to address the problems of people within the diaspora. 9 out of 10, you get people complaining, I went to Ghana and we'll be and all that. We get all that all the time. So I think it's about time that that dedicated desk, which I'm talking about for the diaspora, needs to address or avail itself to people. When people from abroad goes and knock on their door, they should be in a position, or they should be available to address their needs and stuff. Sometimes it's not just about people wanting money or wanting maybe connections and stuff, but it's just, oh, I need to renew my passport, I need to do this, I need. So there should be people there to assign people to, other stuff, so that when people feel at ease, they can always, sow into the party, or they can always contribute their quota, into NPP. And again, majority of the resources that we use in our campaign and other stuff usually comes from US, Germany, and the UK. So if people actually sowing into the party, back home, we don't pay dues when it comes to party activities, but here in the UK, people pay dues to register to join, and at the same time, there's a monthly fee that people pay. So, assuming me paying £10 a month, me contributing my £20 as a registration into the party, then I'll go Ghana to actually find out some information and that stuff, and I don't get anybody who is available to address my issue. It doesn't, help people to actually align or to continue to serve the party. So there's the need for us to have that, dedicated desk to address the challenges that are being faced by the people in the diaspora. So if you ask me, this is what I can say. We need to make good use of a social media presence. We need to create a dedicated desk. We need to have this newsletter, bi-weekly or bi-monthly, so that people in the diaspora will be abreast with what is happening in the party back home, and those back home on history and other stuff will also be abreast with the issues confronting those of us in the diaspora. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Ike. Before we go on to anything else, we have Madam Akosua Menu. Before she talks, I will say a little about her. So Madam Akosua Menu, she's a proud member of the New Patriotic Party and former Deputy CEO of the National Youth Authority. She is widely known as COSI. She has been a strong voice for youth empowerment and political participation, both at the grassroots and national levels. As a former parliamentary aspirant for Adentan, she brings valuable experience in political communication and youth mobilization. With her background in both governance and political communication, we are honored to welcome Madam Akosua Menu as she shares her insights on strategic role the youth can and must play in shaping political narratives. Welcome. Welcome, Madam Akosua.
I think you have to unmute her.
Oh, okay. Madam Akosua, are you able to unmute yourself?
Ghana network.
Okay. Whilst we wait for Madam Akosua to unmute herself, there are a few people in the comment section that have sent some questions. So I'll just ask them. I'm not sure who is directed to, but I believe anyone can answer this question.
Okay.
So this is from Fremer's iPhone. How do you relate with friends or close relatives who belong to other parties, since people have it as a mindset that people from other parties are enemies?
No, we are not.
Okay. So I'll go on to Joshua Billy. I'm really enjoying the insightful conversation. I'm Joshua, who have developed so much interest in becoming a communicator for our wonderful party. But the challenge is that I'm a civil servant and we all know how the politics in our country is. I need help and someone to ride his back on. Currently live in Accra. Please, how can we answer Joshua Billy? Who would like to answer Joshua? Madam Jennifer.
What is his question again?
So he did say, I'm really enjoying the insightful conversation. I'm Joshua, who have developed so much interest in becoming a communicator for our wonderful party. But the challenge is that I'm a civil servant and we all know how politics in our country is. I need help and someone to ride his back on. Currently live in Accra.
Can you please tell him to call me after the program? He can call me tomorrow morning, probably by 8. Yes, he should call me and let's see, because you can't blend the two together. It will be a problem for him. It depends where he works. It depends where you work, because communication, whether you do radio or TV or you do social media, these NDC guys are everywhere. Even some of us, when we put our programs, when you go for program, the TV station will cut a portion of what you said that they are interested, or the public will be interested for you. You post it on your TikTok page. For social media, for Facebook, they don't have a problem, but you put it on your TikTok page, then they report that video and then TikTok will mute it. So if he is a civil servant, he has that face. So I should be able to know which type of communication you want to do, whether social media or the traditional media, like going on TV and radio. And I will have to know if he can do the two at the same time. It's going to be a problem for him, particularly when we are not in power. If we are in power, there's no problem with that. And even if we are in power and he's doing comms, like he goes on TV and radio, and then the power changes, they will attack him. Because as we speak now, my colleague Rabi has been sacked from her office because she went for the CJ's demo, the demo that was organized by Nanabi, our national organizer. She has been sacked. So being a civil servant and at the same time, that's what we are going through now. Being a civil servant and at the same time being a communicator. That's one I can't actually decide for. But just tell him to call me tomorrow morning, please.
Okay.
Yeah. You give me my number, my contact, and then he contacts me. Yes, thank you.
So, Bobby, can I add just a little to it? And
okay.
So there's a price to pay for any decision you make in this world.
Exactly.
If you decide that this is the journey you want to take,
it's
going to be muddy, it's going to be rough. And Don, I heard him saying, I need somebody to ride on his back. Nobody's going to give you their back to ride on.
No one day you won't get those. You won't get how we suffered before we got here.
I say it with some like on a lighter side, but the reality is that in this world, nobody will help you until you show them what you are capable of.
Exactly.
So in the initial stage, in the interim, you have to decide, have a conversation with yourself. Is this the journey I want to go? And am I ready to pay the price for it? But if you ask me, I think it will be better you do background communication since you are a civil servant. Use a different name because even some of you within the some of you within the setup, we need it. That is the only way. If something is happening, something untoward is happening, we can know. So we can't get all of us to be at the forefront of communication, pushing the agenda. Some of them must be at the back end of it. So if you're a civil servant, nobody's saying go and cook stories about the government when there is no story. But if there is anything untoward going on within the system, through some of you that we can know and project it to the nation, which goes a long way to help. In the event that we come to power and you still want to do communication, I'm sure there will be a way of recruiting people into the communication front. At that moment, there will be enough to support you, so you wouldn't need to
Yeah.
find yourself wanting. So for now, if you will listen to my advice, then I believe that you must stay where you are, do communication from behind, and at the right time we can rope you in. Now, there was a first question about how to relate with people on the other side. With your permission, I would like to touch on it. So, Baba, our nation has become so porous. People's minds are no longer working. We've gotten to a point where, excuse my French, stupidity has become the order of the day. Nobody analyzes anything.
No.
Marriages are falling off, friendships are falling off simply because of politics. Now, if you want to sustain your friendship, sustain your marriage, I believe so clearly that you must be deliberate about not discussing politics with your friends on the other side. So one of the reasons I chose to go work at XYZ, a polarized media house, far end, far left of the political wing, was that I sat down to analyze it, and I realized that at the top of our political, the echelons of our political class, they are friends. They take care of each other. They talk to each other. They give contracts to themselves. But in order to keep their support base, they've managed to demonize each party to their followers, so much so that anybody who belongs to the other side is seen as an enemy. So I made it a point that I was going to work at a media house, supposedly which does not belong to my fraternity, as my way of saying that when, for instance, Ibrahim Mama opens Jata Cement and you are an NPP, regardless, in the interest of our nation and the national development, if you get the opportunity to work there, regardless of you being NPP, CPP, PNC, wherever, work and promote the company diligently to build it so more people can also be employed. Ironically, when I took that steps, the very things that when I was on Happy FM, I was saying them without fear, without favor. When I was saying those same things on XYZ, it came across to the people as though I have been bought by the opposition, projecting. Meanwhile, the very thing, Jennifer can attest to it, that most of the things I said on XYZ, I said them because I believed in them. But you see, we are so polarized, the nation, that you begin to, one of the reasons I had to leave XYZ is that no more, now people were not even listening to what you were saying, oh, Mahama Atono, Mahama Hamaniska. In actual fact, my salary for 8 months was not even being paid. But in the minds of the people, I was being given some huge sums of money and all that. So it has become difficult to convince people to stay as brothers and friends in the open. Marriages have collapsed. We all know what the story is when it comes to MPP and NDC marrying, and how disgraceful it becomes that people have to even openly show how they are divorcing their wives and husbands just to please the powers that be within their political circles. It is a sad phenomenon, but it looks like it's going to get worse. So yes, I have friends on the other side. Some of them, Yaya Koku, for instance, prior to me coming to Angel, was my very good friend. But because I'm bashing his government, Yaya Koku has become my enemy all of a sudden. Meanwhile, we don't foretell anything. He doesn't pick your call anymore. Most of these friendship ordinarily is friendship that you genuinely want to keep because they are nice human beings. But politics will destroy them. So it is a sad situation, but it looks like you can't do anything about it. So yes, if you want to keep your friends on the other side, keep them. But try as much as possible not to make it in the open. Because when you do so, it becomes more or less like you are legitimizing their government by being friends with them. One of the things that our parliamentary caucus is having, one of the problems is that it comes across as though most of them play too much on the other side. And I get a grassroots base complaining to me and say, Why? Where you are part of for the? Can we get a problem?
But broker too much.
He's. I mean, so Bobby, it's a sad situation, but we can't do anything about it.
Mm.
So make friends with them, but keep it in the dark. I mean, at some point, maybe the discourse will change, the narrative will change. But now, if you really want to survive, even in our own political party, if you want to survive, we have become so petty human beings that we dwell too much on the unnecessary. Whereas in private, they cut deals among themselves. Some of the informations we are privy to, if we are to lay them, you'll be shocked. So I'm saying that be friends with people from the other side. They are human beings. But try as much as possible. Be careful. Because they also, when they are friends with you, I've met people who genuinely liked me, but I was afraid that when I get closer and maybe I lose myself, they will record you, they will put something. So those fears. So just be careful. Make friends, but be careful. That's all.
Thank you.
Baba, I would say I will add some few words to my brothers. We have a club. We have a club that myself and Okatechi and now we are part of the club. We've been in the club for 15 years. Nana, it's almost 15 years, right? We have NDC, we have CPP, we have PNC, we have NPP, we have everybody in the club. But when we go for meetings, when we do the sitting, we don't discuss politics.
No, we don't.
When we have funerals, when we have weddings and all that, we move together. In fact, we go with our buses. We join our cars. One has to drop his or her car, then we join our cars. We go for the programs and come. Erica J is part of it. The one who has been sorting another and Dr. Baumia Bubia and Stan, everyone is part of the club. We've been in the club for 15 years. Myself and Okateche, we've been with the club for 15 good years, but we don't discuss politics.
No, we
don't discuss politics. I have lots of friends in NDC. If I should tell you the number of them when I sit on TV pleading with me on text messages, SMS, to speak some for them to get appointment, to shock you. I have a permanent slot on Angel TV in the next former place Tuesday, and there was this Anya Sotum candidate for NDC. He's called Alute. The way I bashed him. Then when we went for the tour, the thank you tour, he sent me a message. Oh, we know about Mama me DCU, me da Sinyamishrao. So we have friends. But I, for instance, Nana and myself, we have our friends. But when we sit behind the console and the microphones, the friendship cuts. Until I'm done, you are not my friend. When I'm doing serious business, I don't even remember that you are my friend from the other side. I have lots of them when they were in opposition in my house. They'll come and eat kenke. I do kenke myself in my house. They'll come and eat, watch it. But when they got the appointment, I did something small for my people. They don't pick my calls anymore. The youth will see Sami Jemfi somewhere in some regions or some programs, and they'll tell, oh, Sami Umpejuma, also go and see Jennifer Queen. Somebody that I've been fighting since 2018. He'll be mentioning my name to them. So we have friends, but you need to be careful.
Okay.
Because the moment you slack and this so-called relationship comes in, that's one day your political career has ended. I, for instance, I don't know how I can go blah, blah, blah before an NDC man. That one day. Never say never, but it's a promise that I've made for myself. But I will advise everyone to be extremely careful. Myself, I don't take alcohol. Nana, he doesn't take alcohol. I'm not saying anybody who drinks is not a good person, but you don't know where you flop.
Yes.
And these people are damn wicked such that when they want to do bad to you, they don't mind, they don't care how many years you guys have been in friendship. They will record you anyhow. I have lots of them on my phone. I have lots of recordings from them on my phone. And sometimes I will see when I play it to you. My very own Kokubuahi, my party, we've been on set for more than 12 years. Koku will go and say somewhere, booze, get drunk, and they will send the video to me. It will get to the media, they want to publish it. I say, I beg you. You know, my brother is off. He's already off. Now he's not even getting an appointment when we bring this one out. So it's not like we are protecting them. That's why I said we have two different political parties, and then we are two different political parties because we have the conscience, we know how to deal with human beings, and they think otherwise.
Yes.
When they want to mess up with you, they don't care about anything. But we are extremely careful. So I'll plead with everyone on this platform. We are not enemies. So when we close from programs, you see us standing outside chit-chatting. I have lots of NDCs who were on payrolls. This is a big platform. I can't say certain things. Now I'm breaking Crawford down. They were on payrolls. A lot of them will do their contract that I go, they won't give me. And then this person will call you, oh, Jenny, Charlie, my image will be a home, Mr. No more Kasama, no more Chiamaka. Or you crawl 10% crawl movie, no, this. So we
Thank
can be
you.
friends, all right, but we have to be extremely careful. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you so much, Jennifer
Well,
and Nana Okatechi. So we also have our guest speaker. We've been waiting for him to speak as well, who is in the name of Honorable Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah. He's the Member of Parliament for Ofuase Ayerebi. He's a lawyer and a former Minister for Information. He's a respected voice in Ghanaian politics. He rose to prominence as a top broadcaster before transitioning into public service. Known for his strategic approach to political communication and youth empowerment, Honorable Oppong-Nkrumah exemplifies how young leaders can shape national dialogue and policy in today's digital age. Honorable Oppong-Nkrumah, welcome.
Thank you, and good evening to you and your colleagues. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well, or I should say, I am doing well.
I believe everybody's doing well too then.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I will, first of all, like to ask if you can say something little about yourself. Yes, for everyone to know a little bit about you, apart from what I've just said.
Apart from what you've said, what else can I say? I'll say I like watching movies when I have time. That's the only thing I'll add to it.
Okay.
only movies.
Thank
For
you.
you, where's the
So I would like to ask Mr. Oppong-Nkrumah, so from your own journey transitioning from media to politics, what key skills or habits should young people develop if they want to contribute meaningfully to the party's communication efforts?
Okay, so I'll try and keep it pretty short.
Yes.
I think that the party's communication effort should rely very heavily on young people. There's a role for middle-aged people like myself. I'm 43 years. There's a role for older senior people, 50-something, 60, who are very experienced. But the biggest role has to be played by the youth or the younger people. About 70% of the communication and politicking and ideation, and even some part of the implementation has to be done by young people. And the reason is that if you look at the population dynamics, the majority of people are young people. Across the country, the majority of the Ghanaian population is a youth. Now, young people speak a particular language. I was having a chat with my daughter, who is 12 years old, and I said to her that, oh, but me, I'm very cool. Oh. She laughed at me and said, but cool, who says cool? Because unbeknownst to me, even the expression cool, which I thought was, the slang for being whatever, at their age, at 12 years, they don't, exactly say cool. So even the expressions that they are using, the language they are speaking, the issues that they are discussing are very different depending on the age parameters you are looking at. So if you are doing politics and the majority of the people are young people, you must understand that you need the young people to be at the forefront of ideation, at the forefront of engagement and communication, and to be at the forefront of implementation. I mean, why is it that, for example, some of the NDC appointments that they did, generally people feel excited about it? It's because they can identify themselves in it. Young people can identify fellow young people who've been made ministers of very big portfolios or chief executives of something, and they can understand their language and do a dance challenge with them, or expect a response when they put something on X. We didn't do enough of that in our last government. We must be honest.
Mm.
Yes, we
Mm.
give young people space. I was one of the privileged young people who became a minister at the age of 35. But I mean, come on. There were so many, many, many more, but not all of them got opportunity. This is a conservative party. So
Mm.
sometimes you find that not much space is given to young people. But young people, the first thing is that young people need to be at the forefront. Okay, so second point, what does it take to get young people at the forefront? Yes, you need the system to recognize that young people play a big role and must be at the forefront. But young people themselves also have a responsibility to make themselves available. That's one, as Jenny mentioned, and two, fit for purpose. So those are two things I'm going to talk about: available and fit for purpose. So I'm going to try and use my own story as an example and extract out of it some lessons that we can share. What does available mean? Available means available, yes. But available means putting yourself at the disposal of other people to be of service.
Exactly.
I, for one, I never went to lobby, for example, that I was going to be MP or deputy minister or minister. All I had done was I had made myself available to serve. And as I served in various capacities, people saw what was in me and gave me opportunity to come up. So young people must also understand that you can't feel be somewhere that, I used to be a member of TESCON and I used to be this and I used to be that, so they should. They won't mind you. That's how it is. Nobody owes you anything, like Oketeche mentioned. You have to make yourself available and offer to be of use. So Jenny was making the point that young people come to her and say, I want to be part of communication. I want to do this. I want to support. I want to be available. That's one of the first things, to be available. Now, available also doesn't mean that you show up at a cost. That's the one that you're expecting to work with cannot afford. You've got to show up, but not necessarily that I've showed up at a cost. Because if you do that at a point, people will say, Charlie, this one, the cost is too high. I don't want to. Listen, I know a lot of people who say that when many young people show up, the cost or the demands are just so high that they can't meet it. And so at a point, they pull back. One of our colleagues was mentioning that when you come from the diaspora, you're looking for somebody, sometimes you can't even find anybody. You are looking for somebody to help you. It's also because people partly feel that sometimes the costs are too much. So we should also be asking ourselves, what is the price that I'm putting on my availability? What are the demands that I'm making? Driving this vehicle. So if I am coming to serve you or to assist you or to work with you, me too, I should be, given some. I had young people. I mean, I've brought a lot of young people close to me to work, and I've sacked some of them because the expectations and the entitlement is just too much.
Too much.
But you want to have around you young people who are available in mind, available in presence, and are putting themselves at their disposal to serve. Another part of available also means, and I said available and fit for purpose. Fit for purpose for what is required. I mean, what I'm going to say is probably going to be unpopular, but it's the truth and we must say it. There are so many young people, even some of them who show up, but are not fit for purpose. You give him an assignment that, listen, I need 2,000 words draft speech on climate change. Do me 2,000 words on climate change. And by the time they bring it to you, you are disappointed to read it. And especially if you are somebody who is a taskmaster and has very high standards and you demand a lot from people, you'll be frustrated or disappointed in what they are bringing. And it's partly because a lot of young people are not making themselves available as apprentices early enough. So they don't learn or have a lot of skills early enough. So by the time they show up and you give them something to do, they are not, cutting the numbers. It's okay to do Jama and morale and we are looking nice and taking videos and photos. But in the end, my dear friends, if you don't show up fit for purpose that they say, do an executive summary of this 400-page report. I have a lot of stories of people coming to Parliament to say, oh, I want to be a research assistant to this MP or that MP. And you put them to a test from, Ghana Water Company and this one. I want you to read it and summarize it for me. And what they'll bring to you, the floor of Parliament, and work with it. So first thing is that young people have to be available. They have to ensure that they don't come available at a cost that people can't afford.
Okay.
And they have to ensure that they come available and fit for purpose. That's one of the first things that, or the first set of things that I think young people need to do. Secondly, or maybe thirdly, is that the game in which we are is a game of continuous learning. And I think some of my colleagues have alluded to it. It is a game in which the dynamics are changing literally every day. And therefore, you need to put yourself in a place where you are improving on your capacity daily. Because if you are not improving on your capacity daily, you'll be overtaken with issues. Today, for example, I went to Parliament.
Gosh.
Oh, I think,
It could be the network.
yeah.
Could be the network.
For authorities. Is my
Okay.
line breaking?
Back. Yeah, you're back.
Okay. I was telling a story that today, for example, I went to Parliament, I sat behind my leader, and within minutes, he told me that I'm going to move a motion. I want you to second the motion. I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. But then I had to quickly get on my phone and start learning some stuff that I could use to support the motion that was coming up. And I'm just citing that as an example of how fluid and fast-paced the learning and is. And if you don't build your capacity, somebody will say that, because you're a lawyer. Can you hear me, or am I breaking still? Hello?
You break briefly, but you're back now.
Okay. So I guess the last point I want to make is that you need to constantly be improving your capacity, enhancing your capacity, so that the new challenges that are coming, you've got the skill set to be able to be of use. Those will be the comments that I'll make at this point.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah.
Baba,
Yes.
please let me say, since Minister is on the line. 2013, Minister taught me strategic communication management, and then what to wear, what to say, and what not to say. In 2013, that's 15 years ago. I don't know if he doesn't remember.
I recall. FES, I recall.
Yes, FES. So if today I've become a good communicator, I always give him the credit because he really did very well for me. And so far, I would say he has been a best teacher to me. I haven't stopped learning from him. I've been giving him pressure. When you see me hitting so hard on TV, it's because I spoke with him before I got on air. He's been so fundamental to my communication skills and then my political discourse. Thank you, Minister.
Thanks for the testimony. You have come and pay school fees.
I'll come and pay school. That time we didn't pay school fees to you. You only came to lectures and left. And that day I was fighting in class. Baba, I was fighting in class.
Oh, wow.
I was doing a protest because they wanted this woman, something to come and teach us law from NDC, and I protested to it. She didn't come, and the next day, Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah came. Yes. I told them I don't want the woman to come and teach us. They said that's fine. So I was fighting the day that he came. He was like, "Who is this girl? Who is this smallish girl?" It's like I'm stubborn. I say, "Yes, that's how I am." So it's not today that I started fighting. I've been fighting since he knows.
Okay. So before we move on to anything else, Madam Akosua Menu.
Akosua has a lot to say, unfortunately.
Madam Akosua Menu.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening. Sorry, we're having issues unmuting you.
Yes, I think it's been resolved now. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Evening,
evening.
Akosia.
Yes,
Madam
where are we
Akosia,
now?
can you
Uh-huh.
please say something little about yourself before we go on to ask any questions?
Oh wow, I thought you did an intro.
Yes, I
So
did.
I'm a young, vibrant woman who has found herself in opposition and is learning to cope. Is that a good explanation?
Yes, and as Honorable said, in his free time, he's able to, if he gets free time, he watches a movie. What do you do in your free time?
She incites
So in
people
my
to go
free
to war.
time, what do Okateche say?
You incite people to go to war.
And it's fine. It's really good.
Okateche, that's supposed to be coded. So in my free time, Honorable Kojopo Kuba said something that he's middle-aged. And I said, whoa, what's middle-aged? We are in the politics, we'll have to keep using our football ages to get by. But in my free time, I love reading, and I wasn't getting the opportunity to read so much. I mean, books I love, but I'm catching up with that, and I love movies and series, limited series on Netflix, just to catch up. But I mean, some of you know, at least in the last couple of years, actively engaged in the politics, communicating for the party. I held a few positions in the previous government, and you also know I was a parliamentary candidate for the Adentan constituency. There are a couple of friends on the call. I tried to go through the names. Jennifer has been a sister. Okateche is a brother. Kojo is also a brother, friend, mentor. We all look up to him because of how he carries himself in the space. And I'm also fast learning that my two teenagers also think I'm colo sometimes. They don't use the word colo, but I know that's what they are trying to imply. And I know that I actually think I'm the coolest person ever. Like, I'm the coolest chick ever. But every now and
Well,
then,
in your home or in politics?
no, I think in general. But no, at home they sometimes guys like, no, you don't do that. No, you shouldn't wear that. My son actually told me, I went to the salon today, I came back, my son says, you're looking like a Karen. And I'm like, what does that even mean? I don't even know how to respond to that. But that's how it is now. We are growing and we are learning. And I'm happy to be on this call. Time is fast spent, but I think that answers the first part of the question of who I am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So now to the main question. So what advice would you give to diaspora youth, especially young women who want to contribute but feel distanced from the national platform?
Okay. So there was a platform a couple of years ago when I was in university, Young Executive Forum. It was a group of young professionals from diverse backgrounds who would meet weekly. I think it used to be the first Tuesday every month or so. I had a couple of friends, even when university, who would participate, right? At the time, social media wasn't what it was now. But I think it is so easy for people to find a topic or a cause to rally round, especially in the party, especially where we find ourselves. It's not just social media. In the diaspora, it's actually fun to look out to hanging out, isn't it? I may be wrong, but I do recall that it was easier to look forward to certain meetings because people get so swamped with work and other obligations. Getting the opportunity to hang and dialogue and find solutions or commit to certain courses is something they look forward to. But I would say that one of the things that we young people in diaspora should look to is that beyond campaign season engagements, they should create a year-round platform So for instance, if I take Loyal Ladies, I see that despite it's not about a campaign, but you guys are actively engaged, capacity building, you're having platforms like this, getting asking resource personnel like us to come and share our experiences and advice. And these are the things that will keep young people engaged. Creativity, energy, the drive people have, they're looking for avenues to dispense it. And I feel that this is the time for us to, look out to not necessarily poach, but to get people together. So it could be a different theme every month. That, for instance, the month of January, let's discuss the history of the party. In the month of February, let's discuss policy. In the month of March, let's talk about innovation. What can we do to empower each other? Okay. And there are so many success stories even within the party. There are young people who are doing so much and they didn't necessarily rely on whatever largesse or windfall or gifts that people who were in positions of power doled out. And Honorable Kojo said something about the cost of showing up. Often, and I've seen quite sadly, especially having been a parliamentary candidate, that people will reach out that, I want to help you with your campaign. And then sometimes they show up and it's not just about helping. They're actually looking that there's a cost to them showing up. When there are several others who actually would show up routinely and don't even just love the fact that they're able to contribute meaningfully to a cause. So I feel there's opportunity for people in the diaspora to have themed engagements once a month, meet in person. If you can't meet, you can structure it to once a month, meet in person, or once a quarter, meet in person, once a month, online, have a major event, keep people excited, engaged, and educated or informed of the happenings in home country. Now, I've seen the diaspora, I love them to bits. I think it was the UK chapter some of them came to help me in my constituency in December, and they were so dedicated and committed, and their energy and positivity rubbed off on locals on ground. People often complain, and complaining is like a cancer. Apathy is it's a silent epidemic. People complain on one side before you realize it's spreading to another side, and you just see that there's very little commitment, or there's very little energy to push an agenda. And I've seen people in the diaspora, especially on TikTok, take to their TikTok and do videos lambasting the current administration or citing some ills they've seen as far as government is concerned. And it's inspired me. I got inspired because it's like, burnouts from having been engaged thoroughly back to back for a couple of years now. But it's inspiring to see that despite all the work we put in, it was acknowledged by certain people, and it's not to give up. So I think there's an opportunity for those in the diaspora to have agency, and it's very simple to do so long as they structure it around certain themes monthly, meet online and meet physically maybe once a quarter. It shouldn't be difficult to do. I feel like it's something that if they decide to do before they realize it, would have taken on a life of its own to complement efforts down here later on, especially in campaigning.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Akosua-Manu. Before we go on to Nana Okateche for him to speak, I will first of all like to acknowledge a few NPP UK members who are on here. So we've got IB, who is the second vice chairman for the branch. We've got Marlene, who is the deputy treasurer. We've got Karen, who is our director for Diaspora NPP Loyal Ladies UK. We've got Lady B, We've got Kojo Amwako, who is from North London chapter. We've got Dr. Balmia's mom, who is popularly known as Mrs. Inkum. She's on as well. We've got Abraham Sarkodie, Auntie Annabelle, my own mom, from NPP UK. She's on here as well. We've got Jibril. We've got Ms. V. Please, if I have missed your name, we've got Thanks God of KCC. He's Clement. He is West London communicator. Very, very energetic and spot on communicator from West London. If I've missed your name, kindly pardon me. I will definitely scroll through and give you the recognition. Also, we've got Deputy Director of Protocol on here, Kwabna Frimpong. Yes, so far, these are the people that I can see, but then I'll scroll through later. And our panelists, some of our listeners want to see your face if possible. I think they just want to see your smile. They just want to see you engaging with them. That's it.
Baba, can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. So I guess
Yes.
everyone can see me, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
So Mr. Okay. Nana Okateche. So I've got a question for you, which says, what are the requirements to be a radio or TV communicator for the party?
It's not as though we have some straight jacket requirement that one must meet before you can be a radio or TV communicator. Some people are naturally born ex-tempo. I mean, Kojo Nkrumah, for instance, he is naturally born orator. So whenever you give him the chance, even when he is sleeping, you wake him up and he will speak and there will be clarity. But just to mention a few, you must first of all stay focused and be strategic. Because if you want to be a communicator for a party, you must not be caught off in some hype and negativity all the time. And by doing so, you must remember your purpose. What is the reason for you wanting to communicate for the party? Do you even understand the principles and ideals of the party which you belong to? Now, when you remember the purpose, then you will know that this space is to push the vision of your party, to serve the public and elevate the conversation. If you do so, you will not lose it by chasing momentary attention. Sometimes people go like, I stay quiet for a while. The reason being that I know my purpose. I know what I'm in this space for. I pick my battles very clearly. One will ask why I probably chose to engage one of the filthiest communicators that has ever surfaced in our political landscape. That is Kevin Taylor. It was very simple because he is an abusive human being who continues to abuse people in their homes. And I believe that somebody must stand up to such characters in order for people to be liberated. Other than that, I wouldn't have minded. Now, remembering your purpose is number one. You not responding to everything is number two. So not every headline needs your take. Not every insult deserves your reply. You must have strategy, and the strategy sometimes means saying nothing and letting your silence speak louder than any argument. Now, the third one I probably can mention is to focus on what builds and not what bends. Our party is in a phase that people are focusing too much on what bends us as a people rather than what builds us. So we keep on going after each other's neck. It is easy to criticize and stir outrage. That is cheap part of all the conversations. Who they were in a meal sui, your upon chroma, causing a meal sui, or ye A, or ye B. It is easy. It is the cheapest part of it. But people remember those who bring clarity, who educate, who lead conversations, not those who constantly react. That is the more reason I took it upon myself that I'm going to use a platform I've built by educating the masses, by continuously bringing clarity to what government says they've done as opposed to what actually the reality is. And so far, the evidence is there to show that it has gone a long way to help in mobilizing and also keeping our grassroots base intact and re-energizing them. Now, we must also do well to protect your credibility if you want to be a communicator. That is, you must stay fact-based, avoid exaggeration. Once people feel you are emotional and reckless, it is hard to win them, at some point, no matter how passionate your message may be. Most of our communicators that we have in our space, I think as time goes on, they must reinvent the wheel, that is if possible, because they become too passionate without any facts and all that. You must pick your battles. That is one of the topics that, just like I said, every issue is not your issue. People get themselves involved in politics and they like party A likes party B, and for that matter, they pick battles with almost everyone and anyone in the party in their quest to impress the people that. But funny enough, the people that you choose to impress behind closed doors, they are friends. And even if they are not friends, for the common interest of the fraternity that they belong to, at some point they cut deals and you'll be left hanging. So every issue is not your issue. Choose when to speak based on impact, not impulse. You said somebody said something about your candidate, so you have to also say something about their candidate. Ask yourself, is the moment aligned with the message and the values that you hold? That is, if you have one. Again, you must turn down the volume and turn up the value. Our party is at a crossroads where we are turning up almost every volume, and this says this, this says that. Wow. We are breaking all the bridges in our party, and I'm wondering, after the whole fight for who leads the party, how we are going to reunite the party front to be able to win power and serve the Ghanaian people. So we should not try to be the loudest in this space. When I say loudest, I'm not referring to your voice, because I naturally have a loud voice. But we must aim to be most thoughtful. Audiences can tell who just performing and who is actually trying to lead. Most of the people who are trying to lead us today, some of them are just performing. And with time, the people themselves will see those who clearly can lead and has what it takes to lead, rather than those who are performing to the gallery. So again, you must surround yourself with clarity. I've said that when 1 million people are going left, and in my conviction, I believe that I must go right, I don't just follow the crowd. So sometimes I come across as very annoying, but because I am very clear in my conviction and in my thoughts, exactly what I want to communicate, no matter how unpopular those opinions may be. Lastly, I will say that you must love the party you belong to. And by loving the party you belong to, you must know the history. You must know the prices that people paid for building the house that you enjoy today. People paid a price by being put in cells, the likes of Bafo Sakoto and the rest. People paid a price by being chased out, the likes of Professor Dubois. Now, it is only when you know the sacrifices that these people have made to be able to give us what we have today is what brings about what I mentioned earlier, that is confidence, clarity, boldness. And if you are not bold, you cannot communicate for a party, because it's not a kid's play. People will come after you, you will be attacked, they will lie on you, they will do everything. But as long as you know what you are about, the key lies in understanding that boldness is not about being reckless. That is, we young communicators must root our voice in principle. Most of us, we don't have principle. We go with the wind. So we must root our voice in principle and not provocation. We must start by mastering the party's values, history, and vision, so that when you speak from alignment rather than from reaction, and your message will carry weight and consistency. So if you want to be a communicator for the party, these, I believe, are the things that you must learn in order to be able to, 1, remember your purpose. 2, don't respond to anything. 3, focus on what builds and not what bends. So stop going at each other's neck by assaulting other people's candidates. Project yours and leave others to project theirs. You must protect your credibility. And credibility here is not as though Bibia, you go, Ubia Mosika, most people who know me in the political circles, you know you can't come to me. When you want to use me as a political mercenary, then you must really be paying me so well that after I'm done with that job, I will not need to work again. You must pick your battles. And also you must turn down the volume and turn up the value. Lastly, you must surround yourself with clarity. When you don't know something, reach out to Kozi. Agosua is a very intelligent woman. Reach out to Kojo Ponkroma, Jennifer. If you want to be diabolic, then reach out to Nana Pia Virus. That's on the lighter side.
And your good self. And your good self. And if you want to play mafia, you reach out to me.
Yeah. These are the things that a person needs primarily to be able to be a communicator for our party. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nana Okateche.
You're welcome.
So I've got a question from Karen Kemeche to Ike. So Ike, if you can unmute yourself, it goes, with roughly 1 year left in your term, would you say you have been successful in ensuring youth inclusivity in NPP here in UK?
Yeah, thanks, Baba, and thanks, Karen, for the question. I would say to a degree, yes. I think I have done well. Having taken over the reins of power from Richard and all that. We both are friends, we both are brothers, but then we've got
Let me
different
interrupt. Hello,
leadership.
Ike. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. When I saw your name on the list, I was excited to, for those of you who don't know, myself and Akusia sat in the same class in Legon for 4 years and majoring in economics and other stuff.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't say anymore. Okay,
But she has become more prettier since we met the last time.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, so back to the substantive, Baba. So we both got different leadership qualities. Probably that's the reason why this question is coming up. Out kind of more of the calm side, Richard is that kind of, the extrovert. But with a number of, youth left in my hands around about 120 and other stuff, and me being able to put the number up to over 200, having been able to actually categorize the youth into 2 groups, having those that I refer to as the born against and those who came in when they were young, and also the TESCOM people, which under Richard it wasn't in existence. I feel that now we have the incubating capacity, even if we are not able to send students to UK to actually study and be part of the party, then we have those born here with a separate platform, about 30, born against or Gen Zs who are ready to actually integrate into the party proper so that they can continue from where myself, I'll be leaving you guys in the next couple of months. So if you ask me based on these 2 reasons, I think I have done well, except that our leadership qualities are different. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ike. So the follow-up question is, what has been the biggest challenge in working towards youth inclusivity here in UK?
The same question for me?
Yes, that's the follow-up question.
Okay, can I take the question again, please?
What has been your biggest challenge in working towards youth inclusivity?
I would say logistics has been one of the major reasons when it comes to trying to mobilize the youth. Looking at the dynamics or the demographics in the UK here, we got about 18 chapters spread across the entire United Kingdom. So if you want to really bring people together into programs and other stuff, getting resources is very difficult, especially when you are not the type who do anything for, for whatever. It's really challenging. That's the first thing I can say. And two, because majority of our youth, some of them are on full-time employment and other stuff, and because some people also feel that the queue is so long or is choked to the extent that they feel there's no need for them to rush into doing things. So people kind of more or less sit back, waiting for their time to actually to get involved in politics here in the UK. That's one of the, you see a lot of people not getting involved, even though they identify as MPP people and stuff. But then because they feel there's a long queue, because they feel that, they're not ready to take over, the mantle from, the current administration or the leaders here, they feel like, okay, it is not my time. So let me sit back and wait until when my time comes, then maybe I will do what I have to do. So that's one of the reasons. So resources has been a major challenge, but then I feel that, with time, people will come to appreciate that the youth remain the dominant force of our party, and therefore they will need or they have to take a second look at us when it comes to resourcing us to do the work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the next question goes to Honorable Kojo Oponkroma. Just a minute. So it says, Honorable Kojo Oponkroma, great presentation. I would like us to link up to see how I can learn to be helpful for the party. I'm currently a PhD student in Germany. So it's not a question, but a suggestion. Honorable, do you have any answer to that, please?
No, I think it's a good idea. We're looking for a lot of researchers to join our policy team. So I'm happy to hear that he's a PhD student and he wants to be of help. We're happy to work with him.
Okay.
So please take the details and then you can send them to me and we'll contact him.
Okay, we'll do so. Thank you. Abdul Rashid Idi, kindly send your details and let's take it from there. So the next question is to Auntie Jennifer from Karen. How can you help those of us who are outside of Ghana who want to transition into mainstream party communications and contribute meaningfully? Thank you. Madam Jennifer.
Sorry, a call came through. Yes, sorry, a call came through.
Okay.
Thank you for the question, Karen.
Okay.
Karen has been a communicator, I think, since she joined MPP Loyal Ladies, because I've been reading a lot from her on her Facebook and her TikTok page. Since she's not here, she cannot do the traditional media as we are doing. So I will urge her to do what she has been doing for the party in terms of communicating on her social media platform, because I read a lot from her and I pick a lot from what she does. I think for now, that's what I can tell her, because she's not here. If she is back home, we could at least start with her on the traditional media and see how best she could do it. I don't know if you get my point. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. So the next question is, okay, so it's not a question, it's just a contribution. I've really enjoyed this program. It's a great initiative. I think it should enter our university campuses. Thank you. From AJ Kwame Achia, University of Ghana, Accra City Campus, TESCON Treasurer. Okay. Okay, so next question is to Okateche.
I was about asking for a leave to enter into another meeting, if that's
Myself too, I want to leave, Baba, if you don't mind.
But go ahead and ask the question, please.
Okay, okay.
I have to.
So Okateche, your question is, please, what is Okateche Efrifra going to do about the harm he has caused NPP? The insult about Nana Addo and Dr. by saying Nana is not Ghanaian.
Oh, Baba, you should have read this.
No. Allow people to feel free. I mean, I don't believe anybody must be God. Babi, go ahead and ask that question. Okay. So the person wants to know what I would do about the harm caused NPP.
Yes.
Okay.
The person says they know it's not part of the program, but they just want to know from Patricia, Maryland.
Such questions can only come from people who genuinely are concerned about not only our party, but even myself and moving forward. But Patricia, let me say this. On the lighter side, I did not paint the party black by buying the paint myself. People gave me the black paint and I painted the party black. But that is on the lighter side. We have become much more concerned with people who speak up about the wrongs and the ills of our party, rather than those who actually commit the wrongs and ills of which some of us speak about. I know that growing up, just like President Kufuor once said, "Usana when you it just said there's something wrong with you." But when you also grow up to a certain point and there's too much and it's in you, then there's also something wrong with you. So back in the days, growing up, some of the things, not that we were saying anything which was wrong, but looking back, it could have been said in a much more better way. Yes. That is not to say that I am moving away from the conviction on which I spoke some of the ills, except that some went into excess, for which we grow in perspective. So growing, now I have become more measured when I'm speaking about our party issues. It's unfortunate I can't turn the hands of time to retrade that. So it becomes a learning curve for even those who are coming. Sometimes it gets so annoying, the things that our party people are doing. And Jennifer and the rest, they are privy to some of the things that were going on in our party. I was privy to them, except that I'm not the type that can shut my mouth and eyes. I don't suffer fools gladly, so I go haywire. But I have learned my lessons. That's the more reason I don't comment on almost anything that happens in our party today, because I'm trying to be measured. And let this be a learning curve for people who are coming also, that as much as you can, you must express your disgust about things that are happening within our party. In a nice way. you must do so, having it at the back of your mind that we have a family, we have a house to keep intact. I have learned that lesson. I can't go back and turn the hands of time. But I can also assure you that I am not going to keep quiet when wrongs are going on in our party. I'm going to speak against them. Yes, that it will be done differently, because I cannot continue to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. So I can understand that you are worried about the damage I did to Nana Addo. I mean, thankfully, Nana Addo is no more coming on the ballot paper, so you can forgive me on that. With that of Bawumia, like, we grow in perspective, just like I reiterated. As we progress, we will do our maximum best to see how best we can reshape the conversations and all that. So the fellow Kukrudites who expressed concerns, I can understand your concerns, but I spoke out of conviction. It could have been done better, I acknowledge. And moving forward, I have learned from that mistake. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Okateche. It may not have been a question that is so welcoming, but thanks for clearing the air. And yes.
Okay, so Bobby, on that note, I mean, I don't know why we've made it look like freedom of speech is freedom of praise. I believe if we agree that freedom of speech is there, then everybody must be allowed to speak whichever way they want to speak, even if it's not as tasteful or as unpopular as it is. Before I go off to my meeting, let me acknowledge the presence of, you made mention of one Lady B in London, right?
Yes, Lady B,
Okay,
yes.
so Lady B, what you guys don't know is that she was zero political.
Okay.
Zero. She knew nothing about Ghanaian politics. I am the one that introduced her to MPP. So that's a confession that I'm making. Way back in 2012, I introduced her to MPP.
Clap for yourself.
So, Lady B, greetings.
I'm sure she would send her
She's
message.
sending me a message to bash me, but it's fine.
Yes.
All right, so without much ado, can I take a leave to enter into another meeting, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
please, Auntie Jennifer, before you go, kindly say something before you leave. Thank you, Okazisi. Anything just to encourage us on here.
Oh, okay. I'll say thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone for coming on this platform. We're able to express ourselves, we're able to learn from each other. And then one thing that I can assure you is that we are not going to sit back. We are not slacking. We cannot be gag anyway. That's what myself and Akosia will always say. We cannot be gag. They can only insult us. And for the insult, we've taken it for years, over 10 years, we've been insulted. We are still who we are. We shouldn't give up. My prayer is that after the internal elections, the party will come together again. The unity will come by itself. Yes. For me, I normally don't have problem with people, but if anyone has problem with me and you try to settle and it's not the person is not allowing him or herself, I just tell you that leave it. The problem will settle by itself. So I know one day, all these brouhaha that is going on in our party will just calm down and all that. And it's part of politics. Sometimes we have to, contain it. It's part of politics. Some of these things are bound to happen. But as to how we go about it is the problem. We all know what I did in 2023. And so many times I was being dragged to DC, different committee of our party and all that. But this time around, we are all going to be measured. We need one leader who will lead us. We have an elections to win in 2028. We cannot leave any stone unturned. Whatever we have to tell the NDC government, we have to, without fear or favor, like my brother Okateche said. We are still doing our best. We will continue to do our best. We only pray for good health and good strength to work more. So thank you very much, Baba. We'll meet again. Folks, sorry, I have to leave. I'm running into the workshop. They've started 1 hour, 30 minutes ago. Yes. I have to go and register myself. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Okay, bye.
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 Bye. Okay. So, folks, all I can say now is thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have gone over the time, and I want to stick to me saying that we wouldn't stay on for too long. But before we leave, I don't know if our boss Virus has anything to say. Virus. Oh, okay. Madam Akosia Menu, are you still on? Honorable Kojo Oponkroma, are you on?
Congratulations.
Okay, yes.
Very well.
Thank you.
Even the numbers alone on tonight's call.
Sorry, we're losing you, Honorable.
big deal.
Sorry, your line is breaking.
Oh, you'll get there.
Honorable, your line is breaking. Okay. Ike, do you have anything to say to us before we leave?
Wow. Baba and the loyal ladies, thank you once again. I mean, more or less, I'm the local host to you, so yeah, I can't leave you guys without, saying anything. And I want to say a big thank you to your audience tonight as well. It's been a fantastic journey so far with the numbers rising all the way up to 190 and stuff. So I will leave by saying that, for those of us in the UK who wants to contest an election, tonight we've heard so much from our panelists, and most of the words that kind of resonate with me has been be measured, be measured, be measured. So as we go out there to campaign, as we try to put ourselves out there for people to, vote for us and stuff, let us try and be measured in everything that we do. And I want to say by quoting Michelle Obama's word that, if they go high, try and go low, so that you never meet them anywhere. So I wish you all the best of luck. And very soon, we will join up London to host the upcoming youth festival. And I want to entreat all and sundry, those of us in the UK and those of us in Europe, to join us to actually celebrate the final youth festival of Baba, our tenure. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you to Ike. So I would like to say thank you to everyone for joining us tonight on this discussion, the role of the youth in political communication. A big thank you to our amazing speakers for their insights and inspiration. Today's conversation reminded us that the youth have a vital role to play in shaping our party's message and future. On behalf of NPP Loyal Ladies UK, your host, Baba Pobi, we appreciate your time and engagement. Let's keep the momentum going. God bless the NPP and Ghana. Thank you so much. Before I go, those who did say they want to join the branch or the party, can you please leave your number behind so that I can signpost you to the chapters that you want to join in? Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, the meeting has ended.